If you've been crying over medium ugly people and wondering why is it always the same story with a different name and face, this is the reading for you. We're going to find out what are the blockages in your love life. You can see an image on your screen right now. You've got 3 options to choose from. Feel free to pause the video over here, meditate on all your options, pick whichever one calls out to you the most. You'll find the timestamps in the description box. I'll see you in your reading. Hello group 1, if you guys chose the first option, this is your reading. First, we'll take a look at your oracles and find out what has been the theme so far in your love life, and then we'll move on to your tarot cards. So the oracles that came out for you are adversity, illumination, and recovery. So from what I can see for you guys, group 1, so far the kind of partners, lovers that you guys have attracted, they've kind of, I don't want to say use, but I do feel like those people have ended up using you for their career, for money, for opportunities, using you to get into bigger circles, using you to network, using your name to get inside doors that would have otherwise been closed to them, and then leaving. Like, I wouldn't exactly say ghosting you, but then kind of deliberately drifting away from you. But they do come back. With recovery over here, I don't think you've seen the last of your exes. They do keep coming back. But the interesting thing is that whenever they come back, again, it's usually with a request. I was just thinking about you, and I miss how things were between us. So I was wondering if you have XYZ's number, things like that. One more very specific message that I just got for you, group 1, is that some of these people, after they've completely utilized your contacts and they've made it big thanks to you, they trash talk you, which isn't fair. In fact, it seems as if you tend to attract people who are going through something, and then they get your support and you're with them throughout, like every step of the way. You're always there for them, whatever they need. And then once all their needs are met, once they're back on their feet, once life starts going smoothly for them, and which is around the same time when you're expecting, oh yes, finally some stability in our relationship, we can plan a future ahead, they leave. And with recovery over here, in you guys' case, definitely it is a pattern. And what's interesting is that at the back of your mind, each time a connection ends, you just know that this person's going to come back, because you have something that they want. And so they keep coming back for more. And I don't think it is simply to satisfy their physical needs. I don't see this person having emotional needs as such. This seems to be a very materialistic kind of person that you keep on attracting, all your exes so far, all your situationships, whatever it was. And it's almost as if you act as the cement, you help them make that foundation, and then after that they have no use of you. So they utilize you as best as they can to get their life on track, and then that's it. So yeah, that's horrible and selfish. What are the blockages in group 1's love life? What are the blockages in group 1's love life? We have the 5 of Cups in reverse. What are the blockages in group 1's love life? Too many cards. What are the blockages in group 1's love life? We have the Hierophant. What can group 1 do about these blockages? We have the 7 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. When can group 1 expect to see a positive shift in their love life, Spirit? We have the Page of Swords in reverse. When can group 1 expect to see a positive shift in their love life? We have the Knight of Cups. Okay, so first things first, what are the blockages, group 1? So we have the 5 of Cups over here and the Hierophant, Five of Cups in reverse and the Hierophant. I feel like a lot of you are empaths, honestly, group one. And so very naturally, people who are going through something, they tend to gravitate towards you, kind of like a moth towards the flame. And the blockage over here with the Five of Cups being in reverse is that whoever your partner is, or your crush, or your situationship, whatever it is in that moment, their problems become their problems come first for you. Whatever it is that you're going through on your own, you tend to put on the back burner. Your own issues, your own struggles, things that you need help with, on the back burner. What that person needs, their struggles, their challenges, you're there for them. The other blockage over here with the energy of the Hierophant is that, and I won't exactly call it, actually you can if you want to, sometimes you jump to the conclusion of the potential of a person. For example, oh, right now he doesn't have a job, but I see a lot of potential in him. If I can help him get a job, after that our life will be set. But usually when he does get a job, he hooks up with someone at his workplace and he forgets about you. So it's kind of like that. So with the energy of the Hierophant being present over here with the Five of Cups in reverse, it seems as if sometimes this innate need in you to be emotionally available for the other person tends to block your intuition, which is why you think this person is right for you. You think this person has the potential to be who you want them to be, but you're not able to see them for who they really are. The other thing over here with the Five of Cups being in reverse is that these people, and for the lack of a better word, I would say they sell you their sob stories and you buy them. And it's not because you're naive or anything, it's because you genuinely want to believe in them, and so you do. But then that's the catch. That is where your intuition is not taking over. In fact, your ego is not taking over. It's kind of like an emotional override that tends to override the whole system. So even if your intuition is pinging towards, certain red flags or something, I just heard beeps outside. You're like, no, I'm probably thinking too much. Oh, he's just overwhelmed, she's just overwhelmed, whatever the case may be. So you tend to make up excuses for these people. If they're behaving poorly with me, it is because they're going through something. The minute everything starts going right in their life, they will start treating me fairly the way that I deserve. Except that does not happen. So the primary blockages that I see is that you choose to believe in a version of theirs which they haven't really shown you any proof that version exists. And second, like I said, you make excuses on their behalf. And you make their problems your own, and your problems just take a back seat. Then I asked, what can you do about these blockages? And for that, we got the Seven of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Firstly, you have to stop taking all of this responsibility on yourself. You have to stop feeling like, oh, I'll be a bad girlfriend or I'll be a bad boyfriend if I cannot be there for my partner 100% of the time. If I cannot do this for them, it means that I don't deserve them. So that mindset has to shift. I don't know who broke you like that, group one. I don't know where this mindset is coming from. Maybe growing up, you saw one parent like overperforming or over delivering to keep things afloat, whatever the case might have been. But that's not your burden. That is not your story to carry. Second, with the energy of the Seven of Swords in reverse, Seven of Swords over here, and you see this is a very sneaky energy. And what I especially despise about this combination over here is that he can see that she's distressed, but he's not doing anything about it. Cheekily, he's just standing there, smiling, grinning, but he's not going to tell her what the truth is. So for instance, let's say that these partners of yours, they tell you that their life is absolutely horrible and it's a total mess, and they see the kind of effect that it's having on you, but they won't tell you that, oh no, it's not that bad, or no, I have some money. They'll still come to you and ask you for money, or they'll still come to you and ask you if they can crash on your couch or whatever it is. And so what you can do about it, and see, these are both swords cards, right? So it is ultimately how strong your mind is. That is what you need to strengthen. You have to stop falling for sob stories. You have to stop falling for fake narratives that people create to get benefits from you. That needs to stop. And you need to stop feeling horrible for putting your boundaries. Like if in the second date he starts asking for money, that is where you draw a line. All right, so honoring your intuition and not letting that emotional drama override what your intuition knows to be correct, that is what needs to be done. And with the energy of the Seven of Swords over here, do not simply believe the stories that these people come to sell you. Unless and until there are facts, and until and unless there are other people who can vouch for it, that yes, okay, this genuinely happened, like their company genuinely did get bankrupt, there's no need for you to step in. You're not responsible. Like I said, you cannot sit over here so troubled with all of these responsibilities on yourself. That's too much. You don't have to do that. And I asked, when can you expect to see a positive shift in your love life? And for that, we got the Page of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Cups. One big sign with the Page of Swords being in reverse is that nobody from your past is going to contact you. If that has already happened, if it's been a really long time and you have not heard from anyone from your past, that is a good sign. It means your love life has begun to shift in a positive direction. Second, with the energy of the Knight of Cups being present over here, you'll start to see that you're getting more compliments. And the difference over here is that this is a knight, much more stable than the energy of a page. Pages, and especially Page of Swords, very flighty energy. Knight of Cups, meanwhile, sensitive, emotional, locks eyes with you, knows all the right moves, and not like manipulation wise, but they know exactly what it is that you want, and then they're going to give you that. They're going to deliver and meet and match your expectations. So more invites to go out, more people asking you out, more people complimenting you, you feeling good about yourself. Your skin's also going to get clear, is what I'm hearing for some of you. If you haven't bought jewelry for yourself in a really long time, you'll feel like you want to buy jewelry for yourself. And that's another sign. If you have been stalking people from your past, it'll come from within, like I don't care about them anymore. And like how they say that one fine day you wake up and it just stops mattering anymore, that's exactly what you'll notice. And these subtle signs that I'm sharing with you guys over here, these are all, of course, they sound like subtle shifts, but that's exactly how you know that, okay, now I can expect to see certain positive changes in my love life because this has started happening. And if it has already been going on, then your love life has already improved for the better, and you can expect to go out on good dates and have good relationships soon. All right, group one. So these are all the messages that I have for you guys right now. If you're new over here, do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hello group 2, if you guys chose the second image, we will take a look at what has been the theme of your love life so far first with the oracles, and then we'll move on to your tarot cards. So the oracles that came out for you are growth, then we have frustration, followed by creation. I'm hearing love bombing. I feel like this is what a lot of you have experienced, where initially when you get together with someone, it's very promising, the person is saying all the right things, doing all the right things, love bombing you to a point where you are absolutely convinced that, like this is the one, this is going to lead to marriage, this is the person I want to put down my roots with. But then as things start getting more serious and as the connection slowly comes out of that honeymoon phase into something much more real, that is when problem begins. Because with the energy of frustration and creation over here, what this tells me is that thereupon there's no alignment. Like you want to keep ensuring that things are going ahead, that things remain serious, that things remain stable. You want to discuss about the future, you want to plan the future, you want to make sure you guys are aligned. But the other person always has some or the other excuse about why they're not ready just yet. And conversations start getting irritating. They might start accusing you of always asking them the same type of questions. They might start throwing, tantrums only because you're asking for accountability. They might also gaslight you, is what I'm being told with the energy of creation over here. Like they might completely spin the narrative and gaslight you and make you feel like you're the one who's doing something wrong by asking them where they see it going. You know, the kind of people who might tell you things like, oh, let's just focus on the journey. Why do you have to care about the destination? Things like that. But you do care about the destination. With growth and creation over here, group 2, I feel like unless and until you know where something's headed, you will be restless. That's just who you are. That's how a lot of people are, by the way. And so that is why as soon as the honeymoon period is over and as soon as that love bombing stops, it becomes clear to you that, you know, this is impossible. This connection is like trying to fit this square peg in a round hole. It's not going to happen. We're not compatible people. But it's not even about compatibility, group 2. It's more that you're ready, and for some of the other reason, they're always not ready. The only thing they're ready with is excuses. That is it. All right, let's take a look at your tarot cards now. Spirit, what are the blockages in group 2's love life? We have the Empress in reverse. What are the blockages in group 2's love life? We have the 3 of Cups. What can group 2 do about these blockages, Spirit? We have the Queen of Pentacles. What can group 2 do about these blockages? 7 of Pentacles. When can group 2 expect to see a positive shift in their love life, Spirit? We have Strength. When can group 2 expect to see a positive shift in their love life? And we have the 3 of Wands. All right, so first, if we talk about your blockages, group 2, we have the Empress in reverse with 3 of Cups. Honestly, one of the biggest blockages over here with the Empress being in reverse is that you don't realize just how amazing you are. And maybe you become very generous with your energy. And even though not every Tom, Dick and Harry deserves that. Not everybody deserves to be with you. But you don't see that. You don't see how special you are, group 2. We have the Empress over here, yes, but regardless of whether you're a masculine or a feminine, what this basically means is that you might be someone who has solar plexus chakra blockages, you might be someone who has heart chakra blockages, you might be someone who has sacral chakra blockages. So basically, I would say a lot of self-worth issues. Because of those self-worth issues, once the love bombing starts happening, you're like, oh, so I am special. So you see, there's that external validation, that external stimuli coming that makes you feel like you're special. It does not seem to be an inner knowing thing, even though that is exactly how it should be. You should already know your value so that you can understand more properly on the basis of another person's actions, whether they deserve you or they don't, whether they're matching you or they're not. So that's one blockage. The other thing that I see over here with the 3 of Cups, and this is, I wouldn't exactly call it different, but okay, let's see. Let me tell you what I'm picking up on. People around you, your friends, your siblings, your cousins, people in your social circle for the most part, might be partnered up, all right? Most of them might be married, or a lot of them already have, like they are in steady relationships. And somewhere I feel like it kind of puts some mental pressure on you that, when will I find someone? When will I find someone? Or maybe this is a question that people keep on asking you. Each time there's a gathering, each time there's a get-together, the only question people ask you is, when will you introduce us to someone? And gets annoying. And not just annoying, but it's kind of like this, this thing that's always at the back of your mind. And because of that, each time someone approaches you and initially, they're treating you very well, you're like, oh, okay, fine, then I guess this is the person for me. And next social event, this is the person that I'll introduce to everyone. And it's about a pressure being taken off you. And I think that is why also you're very quick to exchange your energy with people, like how we discussed earlier. So some parts of it, I would say, are societal pressure or conditioning, and some parts of it, I would say, are because of a low self-worth. Then I asked, what can you do about these blockages, group 2? And for that, we got this lovely Queen of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles. Honestly, with the energy of the Queen of Pentacles being present over here, not surprised to see her at all after the Empress being in reverse. Is this focusing? You need to know, like, you need to reconnect with your awesomeness, I would say. However it is you want to go about it. Usually you can start spending, of course, more time with yourself. Start engaging in activities that bring you joy, no matter how silly they might seem to everybody else, whether it is something whimsical, whether it is something you enjoyed doing as a child and you haven't really done that in a really long while. Whatever makes you happy, that needs to be your priority right now. Second, with the energy of the Queen of Pentacles, you have to realize that you already are very self-sufficient. You look good, you earn good, you're comfortable. You don't necessarily need another person to complete you. Let people say what they have to. All right, that should not be your basis for deciding when you're ready or when you're not, or who's worthy of you or who isn't. Right, that has to come from within. So with the Queen of Pentacles over here, working on yourself, and yes, I know it sounds very lame and it's usually a very generic advice these days, but maybe step back and think that it's because it's happening very commonly. We're having a low sense of self-worth, which is being used against us, and so that is what we need to work upon. All right, so working on healing your solar plexus chakra, working on healing your sacral chakra, your heart chakra, these things are going to help. Understanding your values, your needs, that's going to help. Secondly, with Seven of Pentacles over here, do not fall for love bombing, because Seven of Pentacles is all about time. It is all about patience. Unless and until you see consistent behavior across months, not weeks. This is a slow energy over here with Pentacles. You cannot jump to conclusions that, yes, this is the person for me. This is the person that I'll make my +1 for the next wedding that I'm invited to. That should not be the case. Because if they are just performing, which is what love bombing is, the mask is bound to drop off at some point in time, right? And so that's how you'll know, which is why it's crucial that when you start dating someone again, you give them time to prove to you that they are worthy of you, not the other way around. And then I asked, when can you expect to see a positive shift in your love life? And for that, I got the Strength and the Three of Wands. So I'm going to give you some situational anchors over here along with timing, because for this group I do see some timing over here. If you're watching this reading now, March is almost over, so July onwards, July, August onwards, you can start to see a positive shift in your love life, meeting with people who are better aligned with you. I also feel over here with the Three of Wands that for some of you, it can literally be, happening in a month's time. In a month's time from whenever you're watching this, things will start to look good. Notice all of these glimmers on the water, the sparkles on the water. Love those. Yeah, and it's kind of like you're falling back in love with yourself. You're becoming more observant of yourself, of your surroundings. You're developing a very healthy sense of self-worth. Your confidence is getting, going up. You're rooted in who you are, in your power. You're not succumbing to breadcrumbs or half-ass efforts anymore. It's also possible that a trip that you might take from now until July, if you have any trip lined up, or it might be an impromptu thing for a lot of you, whatever the case may be, during that trip or post that trip also, you might notice changes. Or for all we know, you might meet someone while you're on that trip. So basically, things are getting better for you. You just have to keep on working what I mentioned over here in the meanwhile. All right, group 2. So these are all the messages that I have for you right now. If you're new over here, do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, group 3. If you guys chose the third image, first we'll take a look at your oracles and find out what has been the theme in your love life so far, and then we'll take a look at your tarot cards. So the oracles that came out for you are friendship, then we have death, and we have balance. Okay. So here's what happens mostly, or here's what has been happening mostly in your love life so far, group 3. you tend to get friend zoned. And that sucks. But for a lot of you, I think for most of you, in fact, I would say that that's what happens. But here's the interesting thing. We also have this heavy Scorpio energy sitting right in the center. So you don't see it coming. You know, so for instance, let's say that there's someone that you like and you guys are hanging out together, you perhaps even get physical, you get emotionally vulnerable in front of them, and they're getting vulnerable with you, and all of that has happened. So it's very like unofficially together kind of a vibe over here. People think you're together, but you're not, like officially you're not. And then when you start getting more serious, suddenly they're like, whoa, but we're just friends. And that takes you by surprise. You're like, what the fuck? How are we suddenly just friends? I mean, until yesterday, you were telling me all sorts of things which you said yourself you haven't shared with anybody else. And I thought we were getting close. We were like bonding so strong. And today I'm just another friend? It makes no sense to you. And because it makes no sense to you, the death card over here also tells me, group 3, that you guys had a really hard time moving on from those connections. Whether it was a situationship, whether it was something that went on for much longer, whether it was like, no matter what the duration was, basically, it takes you guys long to move on from that. It's because your mind keeps trying to process what happens, like it keeps trying to solve that puzzle. That did I miss anything? Were there signs that I missed? How is this happening all of a sudden? And so basically, with the energy of balance over here, it turns out that what you had entered that connection hoping for was not necessarily the same thing that the other person was also hoping for. Of course, we can say that they led you on, but ultimately they don't deliver, right? They do not walk their talk. And here's the other shitty bit that I can see. If you look at the balance card, all of these people, they seem super pissed, right? But this guy over here has a very calm expression. It's almost as if he doesn't think he's done anything wrong. And meanwhile they're like, we would like to disagree with you. So all of these people that you've been with in the past, who friend-zoned you or who acted like they have no idea what you're talking about, they might not admit that they led you on. They might not admit that they definitely said things and did things which were bound to make any normal person believe that, oh, this is leading to a particular thing. And perhaps for that reason, they've never even apologized to you. There is no accountability, there is no remorse, because they think they haven't done anything wrong. And because there hasn't been any apology, there hasn't been any regret, that is also another reason why you guys are not able to close that tab in your mind. All right, let's take a look at your tarot cards now, group 3. Spirit, what are the blockages in group 3's love life? We have the Page of Wands. What are the blockages in group 3's love life? We have the 8 of Swords. What can group 3 do about these blockages, Spirit? We have the Devil and Justice. When can group 3 expect to see a positive shift in their love life, Spirit? We have Judgment. When can group 3 expect to see a positive shift in their love life? And we have the Ace of Pentacles. All right. So, group 3, if we talk about your blockages first, here's the thing. We have the Page of Wands, interestingly, with the 8 of Swords. So, right from the get-go, it seems as if you mistake a jester for a king, and that's just not who he is. You attach a lot of value to someone who is totally not worthy of it. It's just a page. But then in that moment, because of your emotions and of course the effect that their actions might be having on your emotions, you tend to get blinded, because of which you attach value to them, and you're like, this is the one for me, this is my king, even though he's not, he's just a page. I mean, no shame to pages, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? So that is the biggest blockage. Mistaking someone, like, how do I put this simply? You feel like this person can be the one you want them to be for you, but that's not who they are. They're actually someone who's selfish, someone who's immature, someone who's impulsive, someone who is absolutely not on the same level as you when it comes to maturity, emotional maturity, things like that. But you're not able to see that. Although, because this is the energy of the Eight of Swords, it is quite possible that sometimes you choose not to see that. And it is also possible, group 3. And of course, in retrospect, you might think that, oh shit, yeah, like this legit did happen. When you are with such people, the other people in your life, your family, your friends, might ask you things like, what do you see in him? Or why are you with someone like him? And you're like, oh, why? What's wrong with him? He's a nice person. He's so good to me, and things like that. But then your friends and family, they turn out to be, what they're saying turns out to be true. Because this person does end up disappointing you. Like, people like him do end up disappointing you. So the problem basically is that they're not how you think they are. That's just you attaching too much value onto them. And so when you take that back, when the rose-tinted glasses fall off, you're like, what was I even thinking? What did I even see in him? Like that. So assuming too much too soon, believing too much too soon, putting the person on a pedestal too soon, glorifying a person too soon, and because of that, not seeing certain visible or consistent red flags / patterns, that is the blockage. Okay. Then I asked, what can you do about those blockages? And this is very interesting. We have the devil and justice together. Now, the devil is all about mind games. You know, like the devil would love to keep you trapped in the same narrative, in the same situation, breadcrumbing you, doing enough to make sure that you stay, but never fully committing to you and crap like that. Justice, on the other hand, very strong, sturdy energy. This is what I want. If you cannot give me this, you can fuck off. Like that. Right? So your energy needs to shift from this to this. And interestingly, here also there are blindfolds, just like how there was a blindfold over here. The blindfold needs to come off, group 3. You need to be very clear before entering a connection. What are your requirements? What are you looking for? And if the other person cannot match those expectations, cannot give you any clarity, you leave. You do not fall for mind games. You do not fall for words alone. Actions need to match up to the words that are being spoken. All right? You have to set those boundaries. And if this person, or like whoever comes next, or basically just to break out of this blockage and this pattern, if they're consistently repeating those patterns, just breadcrumbing you and things like that, that is where you draw the line. You take a step back. Then you do not care about, oh, but if I step back, it'll hurt them. Think about yourself in that moment. You don't have to be, like sacrifice your own happiness for their sake when they're not doing shit for you. So you have to basically, bottom line, choose yourself. All right? No more believing whatever it is, like these half-baked stories being sold to you. And that clarity is only going to come when you learn to honor yourself and your needs, group 3. Because otherwise it'll be very easy for cunning people like the people that you've been with in the past to toy with your emotions like that. And then the last question was, when can you expect to see a positive shift in your love life? And for that, we have Judgment and the Ace of Pentacles. So the good thing is that we're already in spring season, and I feel like spring onwards you can expect to see positive changes. You will meet people who are ready for commitment, people who will not be half-assing their efforts, people who mean what it is that they say, people who are very grounded, people who are genuinely looking for long-term meaningful connections. And the other major shift, which I would say would be more internal with the energy of Judgment, is that you'll feel more like yourself. And I know this statement sounds weird if I simply say it, but sit with it for a minute and you'll know exactly what it is that I mean. Maybe in the past, to keep things going, to keep things afloat, you've often had to customize yourself a lot. You've often adopted the likes and dislikes of the person that you were with at the time. And so somewhere you lose track of your authenticity. When you come home to yourself, when you're more yourself than you ever were before, that is also when you know that this shift has arrived in your love life and you can expect to see positive changes. The other lovely message that I see for you guys is that whoever it is that you ultimately end up with, group 3, is going to be someone whom you've spent past lives with. And that is beautiful. All right, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now. If you're new over here, do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.